Hi, my name is Arlie Rutherford. I'm 22 years old. I'm the mother of a beautiful 2-year-old baby boy and a beautiful 3-year-old baby girl. Um, I was born in a small town called Grove Hill, Alabama, and now I live in Wetumpka, Alabama. I've lived in over 15 different houses between my birth and my 22 years. Um, this has introduced me to a lot of different type of people from a lot of different, walks of life. Um, so when I was in high school, it was drilled into my head that I needed to have a career or college plan by the time I graduated high school. Um, I graduated high school at 6 months pregnant and felt like a bit of a failure because I didn't have any kind of plan for the rest of my life. Um, I was told I needed to have a college or career plan throughout my whole high school career. So after going through so much as a teenager and young adult, I'm ready to get my life on track and start my career as a nurse. Um, Ever since I was little, I dreamed of being a nurse. My mom was an RN who worked in hospice, and when she would come home, she would give me some of her paperwork, and she would act like or she would make me feel like I was helping her. I've also always loved helping people. I worked at Walmart for like 2.5 years, and it always made me feel really good when I could help someone or just even make their day. Um, as a child, my life was carefree. I had everything a child could ever want or need. My mom was a nurse, and my dad drove trains as a train engineer. It wasn't until my mom developed a drug addiction that I learned how crazy life could be. My mom developed her addiction to pain pills when I was in the 6th grade. My mother ultimately ended up losing her job because of her addiction. She was in and out of rehab for like 4 years. Within those 4 years, my dad fell off of a train and injured his back to the point where he couldn't work anymore. And throughout these years, I grew up a lot. I went from being a spoiled child to a really depressed child. I went from, being this spoiled kid to having to be like a mother figure to my brother, who was about 2 years old at the time. After both my parents lost their jobs, we ended up moving 2 hours away to my grandmother's house. This came like what seemed like out of nowhere. I came home from school one day to my childhood home having a note on it that said foreclosed. 2 days later, I was starting school in a town that I had only visited as a child. From 6th to 12th grade, I attended 5 different schools, and my brother attended 3 different schools. I did everything I could to protect him from noticing how drastically our life had changed. My father ended up healing from his injuries, and he got another job driving trains. We moved into a house of our own for about a year, and then we ended up losing the house because my parents split. We ended up moving 2 hours away to a different place again, and then we moved a few more times before I ended up graduating high school. I began to rebel and hang out with the wrong people. I dropped out of high school for a brief period, and my father begged me to try online school. I did, and ended up hating it. I ended up realizing that I missed the social aspect and went back to school my senior year and ended up graduating. I found out in January of my senior year I was pregnant. I had no idea what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. All I knew is that I wanted to provide the best life that I could for my child. I had no plans of going to college after graduating high school. All I was worried about was working to provide for my daughter as a single parent. I had my daughter on October 3rd of 2018, and my life changed forever. I knew the first time I hold her, she had saved me from all the negative influences that I had in my past. So, as an 18-year-old, fresh out of high school, working at Walmart, I bought my own car, had moved into my own apartment with my boyfriend at the time, and I felt like I was on top of the world. Felt like nothing could stop me from being happy. Although things in my life were going great, I kept feeling like something was missing. I worked at Walmart for 2.5 years. Then my boyfriend and I decided that it would be better if I became a stay-at-home mother because we both had schedules that were really hard to find a babysitter for both of us to be able to work. I was hesitant, but we did it because it worked. I was a stay-at-home mom and a babysitter to my friends' kids to make a little extra money. Me and my boyfriend's relationship was on the edge after a while. His father ended up dying, and he developed an addiction to pain pills and alcohol. So I made him leave. I became a single mother with no job, hardly any skills, and no money. I lost all hope and fell into a state of depression. I ended up losing my apartment because I couldn't pay the bills, just by babysitting. An old friend of mine heard about this, and he offered to let me and my daughter stay with him and his son. I agreed to uproot my life one last time and start over again somewhere new. I was disappointed because I told myself my daughter would not grow up moving around like I did. When I first moved in, the kids shared a room and I slept on the couch. I was a stay-at-home mother to my child and another child for a few months. My roommate got diagnosed with heart failure, and I had to go to work for a while he fought for disability. I started working as a CNA in a nursing home and fell in love with the job and the residents. One of my co-workers told me about Herzing University, and I went home that same night and applied. I started school and fell in love with my roommate within a 2-week period. He ended up getting disability and told me I could stay at home if I wanted. We decided that I would stay at home until I finished college, and then I would go to work. I realized how much I loved working as a CNA, and going to college for nursing could open up so many more doors for me to expand my career. Also, upon completing college and obtaining a job, I could make double what I make working as a CNA. I want to be able to support myself and my daughter if anything happens between me and my boyfriend, but also if something happens to him, I would like to be able to support me and my children. Not only is going to college a good financial move, starting college has also been very good for my mental health. I feel like I'm finally moving in the right direction with enough momentum that nothing can stop me. Even though I've been through many things that I could have used as an excuse to fail, I've decided to make the best of every bad situation and make a better life for me and my children. I'm a firm believer in the statement that everything happens for a reason. I also believe that if anything happened differently in my life, I would not be where I am in life or the person that I am. Without the hardships I experienced, I wouldn't be in nursing school, raising my daughter and stepson, and in such a good place mentally.